G'day everybody, welcome back to In My Shed. I'm BC. I was getting on with another try at the drill grinding jig and come across a bit of a problem, and I zoomed in on the problem and thinking, got to get this fixed, and didn't think about making a video, so you're coming in about 30% of the way through it. Now, this is a problem I had well before I moved shed, but I just thought I'll put this in a too hard basket while I'm loading all of my shite into two containers. I just honestly didn't have the time to address it. But a little bit of horizontal borer information. When you're not using the facing head and you want to run milling cutters in a collet chuck such as this, you need an adapter, or in this case it's called a snout bar holder. That is the snout bar holder. The flange bolts up to the facing head. In there you have an 1.5 inch socket, which, if you're boring, takes a snout bar. Why the hell it looks like a snout, I don't know, but that's what they call it. When you're not boring and you want to run a milling cutter chuck or a drill chuck, something like that, that's a Morse taper turret lace socket, 1.5 inch OD with a 3 Morse taper. Put that inside the snout bar holder, lock it up with the locking bolt, and use it like you would a normal collet chuck. You can't really do heavy work with it. There's not a lot of rigidity in the facing head, even though there's 2 clamping plates to clamp the slide up. But look, it's got a great big work envelope, and it comes in very, very handy. You can tap stuff around on the table. It all comes good. Except, I was doing this job. Oh, that's another adapter. That's a very long adapter I got out of America. I've shown that before. They're quite a good tool, and that's what I'll be adapting later on. It's as hard as the hobs of hell. But that's the fixture I set up with an angle plate at the back. That's the main body of the drill grinding attachment. They're the 2 pivoting lugs, or ears, whatever you want to call them. And I was coming in and boring those holes out a little bit bigger in diameter so that the pivot pin will last a bit longer, and also to make sure that they were in line. And we finished up quite a long setup with the chuck sticking out of the snout bar and then the drill out the front of that. I was using a piece of reasonably straight rod to align the holes to get everything set up. And when I come to open it up with an American-made bullnose slot drill, it was cutting, but it was only cutting off one side, and it looked a little bit up to shit. So I looked a little bit closer, and even with my old bad eyesight I could see the chuck just making a little bit of an orbit rather than running smooth. So I put the dial indicator up, and the OD of the snout bar holder was running true, the bore was running true. At the face, the socket was only running out about 1 thou, which I thought would have been acceptable, but at the end of the drill it's running out about 25 thou. So I started to have a little bit of a look, and sure enough, what I discovered months ago and had forgotten is pretty true. The inside of the snout bar holder is all wallered out, or it's been machined out, I don't know, but the drive is in there cockeyed on an angle. And it only takes a few thou over the 2 inch length here to be out 25 thou at the end of a long tool. Maybe I'm expecting too much, but yeah, for what I'm doing for snout bar boring or for using a milling cutter, it's way too much. So what I'm going to do, I've measured that up, and that's just barely on size. That came up reasonably good, and I've got a bit of a shock here. I've got a 1 to 2 inch micrometer of a very good brand name. I put it up on this fella, and it's reading just under 1 thou oversize, and I thought, can't be. I've polished that and I started off on size. So I checked the standard, and 2 other micrometers and digital vernier show me that the standard for that particular micrometer is 1 thou oversize. That pulled me up a little bit. But what I intend to do is bore these out. They're very, very heavy in the wall. I would say just over 1/2 inch. I'm going to take about 1/8 of an inch out of there. I've got some mild steel, and that's what I've got up in the lathe, and that's what triggered me. I should be doing a video on this. And I'll put a sleeve in there that's about 3.5 mil wall thickness, and put a boring tool up on the table and just take it out to size, scraping out a thou at a time. And I should be able to get a better fit than something that's belled out 3 or 4 thou in there and giving me all sorts of wobbles. So now you know the background of what I'm doing. I'll show you where I'm up to on the lathe and do a bit more of a video there for you. Bye for now. Now before I start making a whole lot of horrible noise, I'll show you what I'm up to here on the old Massac lathe. It's quite a big heavy beastie, but it does a reasonable sort of job. Using my paintbrush pointer here. Okay, this is the billet of what I had in stock out the back. I don't know what the hell it is. It's 44.5 diameter or whatever. It's not 1.5 or 2 inch or anything. It's not hollow bar, but I can just get a few thou off, and that leaves me about 3.5mm wall thickness in a bush that I'll goo up and press into the snout bar holder, and I'll be able to take about 0.5mm to 1mm out of the inside of it, and it should come out quite good. Now that's a 6mm drill. I'm going in 60 deep, so that's 10 times the diameter. Well, I hear this ooh ah in the background. Bloody hell, you can't do that. You're only supposed to do about 3 or 4 per diameter. Look, as long as you're careful, you keep some gooey goop up to it and you back it out every now and again, and the drill is ground correctly, you can do it. I do have the occasional slip. I very, very rarely lose anything for this kind of operation, but yeah, it's quite possible to do it. Now, I'm not thinking too straight because I'm absolutely exhausted, but I need to do 2 of those snout bar holders, and I thought I'd make up 2 bushes. So over to Mr. Power Hacksaw, I start hacksawing 60mm off, and after I got about a third of the way into it, I thought, how the hell am I going to bloody hold that to turn the OD? So then I realised I've got to make 2 at the same time, and I part it all off afterwards. So I'm going to bore that out to a size that leaves me a little bit to turn out on the horizontal borer, which should be quite an interesting clip. And I've got a GoPro with a little magnetic base that I should be able to set up on the borer table if I move quite a lot of crap that's on there at the moment, and get some really good footage. I can't guarantee I'll get on size first time. I'll try my best, but we'll see what we can do, and it so far making a reasonable video. So I'll turn you off now, retool the lathe, open it up, turn it around, do the OD. Now this is only a 3-jaw chuck, and I set it up with my dial indicator after wiping all the turds off, and I came up about a thou and a half out, and that was pretty well verified because I only had to do 3 thou total depth of cut in the hole. I cleaned up rust and all, and I've got bright metal to work with, which I thought was quite good. Anyway, I'll put the bigger drill in and bring you back then. G'day there guys. I'll turn the machine on, make a little bit of noise, and we can start the drill. The drill is a bit of an odd size, 27.75mm. I think it was a special order by a customer that was never picked up, but that's the joys of being a bloody tool merchant. Okay, we'll make some noise and get it going. I don't know what the material is. It turned very, very easy, but it's seeming to drill a bit more difficult. It was in with a pack of hydraulic rods, so it might be a bit of nickel chrome moly or something like that. It'll come good once it's into diameter. It's chipping pretty short. There we are. It's behaving itself a lot better now. I'll be leaving the material cool down quite a bit between operations. I don't want temperature to play a part in this. I can be bad enough on my own without the temperature having to go at it. I do have a tool block that mounts up on top of the cross slide, and it has some horse taper holders so I can power feed wheels, and I also have one that slips into the tool post, but for this small operation it's not worth doing it. It's still a reasonably quick way to put a hole in something. I'm happy about that. Always like to keep it greased. I'm not a big fan of using water soluble frequently. It just makes a mess all over my workshop. I don't have a splash guard on the back of the lathe. And for the one odds and the small amount of work I do going slower, doesn't really matter. As long as you remember it's hot when you're going to take it out of the lathe. I forget that sometimes grinding countersinks are a slow, laborious job. They get bloody hot. Not a big fan of really applying too much lubricant. You only need a thin film, soft built up edge, and a little bit of lubrication. At this speed, temperature's not a real worry. Actually, I might kick it up a little bit. We'll be here forever at this speed. That's a little bit better. Let's tear another new one. Chip, I'm pretty sure they said they did a hydraulic rod. Okay, I'll finish this off camera and I've got to move the tar sock up, and I'll bring you back when I've turned it in for you. Back again, guys. Got the boring bar set up. Open it out a little bit. I only want to take out enough on the horizontal bore to get it running true, and also I wanted to make sure I wasn't making a deal of myself. And I've upped the RPM a little bit, taking 15th hour side only with a tiny little TCMT insert, and it's pulling a pretty good chip. This has been a nice little boring bar, both for use on the lathe and for use on the horizontal boring mill in the past, so I'll just let you see how it runs. Then I'll take it out to the side, swap it end for end, and show you a few operations on the other end of it. I've already put a little bit of cutting compound inside it. For a little boring bar, it takes a pretty good chip. It's taken me quite a while to get used to running at the higher RPM with the carbide tools, but it is really beneficial, except when you crash it. That happens to me still occasionally. I'm going about 5mm longer than need be on the length, but it's only going into the other part which is going to be identical, so it doesn't really matter. That's been a good pass. Yeah, it's getting a bit hot in there. It is hydraulic bar, I'm sure of that. But it came at the right price and it'll be all the better for this job. Crank out another 15. We'll do the pass and then I'll measure it. I think if you put mag on that bar it'll sizzle quite loudly. I cut top things off on half by accident. I'm not going to do it by purpose this time. Now comes the dilemma. How much do I leave to take out on the horizontal borer? Okay, let's see where we are. We'll take a little bit more yet. Another couple of passes. Okay, rather than blow the pants off you, I'll do that off camera. Here we are back on again. I'm sorry it'll be noisy. But it's just deep drilling in the lathe. How deep can you go? Not trying to be Superman, but I think you can if you're careful, do quite a bit. Rightio, bit of noise. As you saw by the chip in the last clip, when I was boring the other side, it's reasonably tough material. I don't think it's hard, but I think it's tough. And I've got the tail stop moving. That's it, bit of swarf coming out there. I like to deep drill at a reasonably low speed. I know it doesn't do the utmost for chip extraction, but it gives you just that little bit of time if it's going to grab. You get a bit of a chance to get the tool bit out, or in this case the drill bit. If you can make long stringy swarf, it tends to clear well, but that's a bit limited when you get in very deep into the hole. There's still quite a bit to go. I will kick it up one spare further. $317. Maybe I've done the wrong thing, we'll find out. Pulling the chips a lot quicker, nearly 50% faster. And I sure as hell don't want to hear that snapping sound. That was all the time invested in the other half. You can see it's starting to catch all the chips up in the flutes now. We're all waiting for that snapping sound that I hope doesn't happen. And it's not even a cobalt drill, just a standard high-speed steel driver. He's probably been through the Brearley drill grinder a couple of times. I don't know whether that's a plus or not. Well, I don't have to be as careful with what I say now because I no longer sell the product. All I can give you is a tour opinion. Although an opinion's only an experience, guess. I think we're very close to there. Jesus, filling the bloody flutes up. And here one, through to the other side. And I've got to say, no problems. Although I have had a bit of a snag, my tailstock clamp is fairly badly worn and it's not picking up really well. Now we'll face the end of that off. After I safety this chuck. That's a bit better. Don't need to spear anything into my hand. It turns fairly well. Almost cleaned up. once more with joy. And the way that looks, it's cleaned up quite well. Just give it a little bit of a lag angle. Let's see how close we can get the angle. Little way to find Reg. Good afternoon. Yep, I'll just turn the camera off. G'day guys, we'll make a bit more noise. Drill the other side of this workpiece. I've kicked the speed up, but I don't like my chances. I may have to drop it back down again. Well, here we go. Just not drilling well. This should give it a bit more chance. I'd rather see big chips coming out. Still not chipping well. Now stop with the holding. And it's still not holding well. That's not working. Maintenance time for the lathe. Well, that was embarrassing for a bit, but I finally found a spot in the bed that's not as warm. As you see, I'm going to be pulling this bloody thing apart next week. Fix a machine to fix a machine to make a part. Oh well, you buy old machines, you get what you pay for. And then I can get a bit of pressure on this drilling much better. Yeah, it's pulling good chips now. Just keep a bit of lube up to the front of it, otherwise it'll all just go clam. The difficult part comes soon. Getting the bore and the snout bar adapters correct. And boring these out on the mill. I haven't used the horizontal borer to bore its own holes before. It'll keep me on my toes, I suppose. Just the colour chip I like coming out of the hole. I suppose I could say it was a hard spot in the material, but I'm not that used to bad bullshit. These are making a bit of swarf tonight. Surprising, this material's toughness and cut really easily in the hacksaw. I suppose that's a fairly low speed machine tool. Once again in the new shed, swarf everywhere on the floor. Bring it out again, those chips are getting a bit low. We must be almost there. Move the poor old fella. It's amazing how much you can feed high-speed steel tools. You take them over speed. G'day there guys, welcome back to the shed. We had a bit of, I had us called a flat battery on the camcorder. Not very good planning on my part. And it happened, all I was doing was boring the second bushing to a nominal internal size. We're up to fairly close to spec on the OD of these two bushes that are going into the snout bar holder on the kerns. They don't have to be a specific size, just close, as each of the snout bar holders will be bored in situ to suit the OD of the bush, and then the ID of the bush will be bored on the machine so that the snout bar holder is more concentric than what it was before. So this is my new to me used car parting tool. We'll just show you parting off the part and then over to the borer for a bit of an op there. Sorry about the machine noise again, but if it's not running you don't see the fun. It's a bit of unknown material. I think it's hydraulic rod. You can hear it being intermittent. That's where I started to cut it with the hacksaw first and realised my error. But it's cutting quite smoothly. That's a beautiful tool. Now I've checked inside the snout bar holders and there's plenty of room for material to come out. And what I'll be taking out is not in the welded area. It's inside that. Once again, this parting off without the bang or the expected troubles is just fabulous. I'm sure there's a bit of lube on that tip rod. I think we're almost there. Look at that speed demon of parting off. There's a little swab. That's the shiniest part of the piece. Okay, now we'll go over to the borer and do a little bit there. There you are guys, looking down from above. That's the front of the snout bar holder. This is the second snout bar holder that I haven't used a lot. It was holding the snout bar, and the snout bar is just a short boring bar that comes off the front of the borer. But here you can see a great big wallering. Now with this particular machine, and you'll see it in the sec when I zoom you back out, there's not a lot of sideways movement that way available in the slide. It only moves in one direction, and when you can't get the adjustment you want, according to the guys that have been using this, you belt the living shit out of the front of the snout bar holder with a hard hammer, and then you still can't get what you want, so you belt it again. And to me, anyone that does the same thing several times expecting a different result is an absolute dunce, and that's the way that this poor thing's been treated. You know, the big problem is the snout bar holder is keyed to the slide by 2 drive keys or alignment keys, and you can only get about 2 thou sidewards movement, and that's it. There's no more slop left in the slide. You can only move it along the axis of the slide. So to persist trying to get a different result out of the same thing is just stupid. So I'll square up the face of it, and then I'll turn along the body for a little bit, and the reason I'm doing that is I'm hoping to hold it in the lathe in that position to take a lot of the material out of the inside of the bore. Now don't forget, I'll be boring the bush in the same position as this, but with a boring bar of course, so the accuracy of that bore is not that high a problem, because once I've pressed the bush in and I bore with the boring bar, it'll true it up to the slide, and running true to the slide is the only criteria we've got with this particular job. So I'll crank it up, take another thou off the face of the snout bar, and then if I can I'll bring you back when I'm doing the OD a little bit. Okay, let's make some noise and hope the camera doesn't go belly up. Might turn the power off the wall. Okay, lucky I had to do that. I had the wrong specs on. Let's see if we can get a good view. Yep, that looks good. I'll put a very small bit of feed on, bit of gooey goop. Okay, that should only be about a thou. Let's see what it's like. That had absolutely no effect. I'll just turn that machine off for a sec. The table lock's not completely free. That spanner went for a big 6. Okay, we'll try and feed it in another thou. Okay, see what that does. Now I'm a bit restricted on what tool holders I have. For left hand turning I've only got this and a high speed steel tool holder, and this takes a W&MG insert with an 08 radius, and that's not the sharpest insert I've got, so I don't expect a reasonable finish, but I think this will true up the face of the snout bar quite well. It's the same old story. If you try and take too light a cut with indexable inserts, they just don't want to cooperate. Okay, let's see what it's like. And this is another problem with old machine tools, there's no spindle brake. God help you if you get into trouble. Yep. I'm quite satisfied with that. For such a hard, tough material, whatever the hell it is, it come up quite nice. I'll set up and take a bit of a rough pass on the OD and then bring you back when we're turning. There you are, you zoomed out a little bit so you can see what's happening. You're on the snout bar. We'll just take you in a little bit closer. Now I've got it in longitudinal feed. I've dialed in tooth hour in feed and we see what happens as we go. And we're just starting to skim a little bit off the OD now. It looks as if the OD is only going to be about 3 or 4 thou out of round, which is surprising for the hell of a pounding this thing's had. It's also not the sharpest insert, as I said earlier. The feed rate on this old machine is pretty slow. It's spent for high-speed steel tooling. Now all I'm aiming at here is to get the thing as round as possible with a reasonable finish. And that I think will do me for the moment. Okay, another 2.5 thou in, so that's a total of about 5 thou left of cut. Let's see if this brings it up around. I'll throw the feed in and away we go. Bit like watching paint dry. Oh boy, that's very close. That's near enough like swearing for me. And this feed mechanism is a hell of a lot smoother than what's on the Mazda blade. The old bore is running on quite an hour. It's had about an hour's running since I did the gears and bearings, and everything's bedded in reasonably well. I'll pull the oil out of it soon to make sure there's no metal accumulating in the gearbox, and after that I'll be happy with it. And I'm hoping after this bit of work I'll be able to get some accuracy out of my little bore. Okay, I'll drop the power feed out now and feed the last little bit by hand, because being an old goat I just don't trust anything. So now I'm close to the end of the cut now, and we'll turn it off and see what the result has been. Righto, that's it. And I know you don't treat an insert like that. but just not good enough for old BC. I'll take it out. It's given us a good enough finish to hold it with, but I would just like to take another tooth out of it to get rid of that yuck. Okay, well, I'm sick of holding onto the camera while I'm trying to operate the machine, so I'll end this now and bring you back when this is all over. And I'm hoping this will be the final pass. Dropping longitudinal feed and engage the gears. I've done quite enough videos on operating the controls on this machine before, so I'm not repeating all of that. Well, so far it's looking nice. Especially for an insert with a big radius like that, I don't like taking too far off. And I'm having to feed it in using a dial indicator because the cross slide on this doesn't have any graduations. It's the machine with the optometric system is supposed to use. But the scales are a little bit shabby for my liking. Poor old thing's only 10 years younger than me. Well, so far it's promising. Winner, chicken dinner. But for me tonight it's oven cooked pizzas out on the stone. Love it. Same as before, I'll finish this up on hand. I don't like crashing under power feed. Beautiful, tell you Mark. I dare say that'll do me. That's cleaned up enough to give me somewhere to chuck it up on the lathe, spin it out till the bush drops in, with a bit of Loctite of course, and then put it back up on here to bore the guts. Okay, bye for now. Bring you back when something else is interesting. Just to finish off here, I've had to turn the spotlight down. It's getting too much glare off the workpiece. I decided to try and get the last 3 or 4 mil right up to the end of the retaining bolts there, and I got quite a surprise. The last couple of millimetres here, it was taking a full depth of cut, about 6 or 7 thou, but it was squawking like hell and it's surprisingly out of round. And then I realised I got into the weld affected zone from when this was originally built. Okay, please like and subscribe, and I'll bring you back after we've turned the guts out and we're pressing the bushes in.